On today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Diamond Select Toys Ghostbusters Select Louis Tully Deluxe Action Figure. Along with Louis Tully, you get also a very large accessory piece that can be added to the other figures that we've had a look at to build a very large diorama. Down below we've got Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis, whatever happened to him? I think he actually has retired from the world of Hollywood. Maybe Spaceballs 2 will bring him out of retirement and we can see his fine acting performances yet again. On the side, we've got Rick Moranis as Louis Tully. I believe this is the scene where he's talking to the horse and then his eyes begin to glow. Down below, we've got a Ghostbusters logo on the back. Other figures available are Ray Stantz and Winston Zeddemore, both which we've already had a look at. Collect all 12 figures to build the rooftop scene. A read-up, and I must say a very lengthy read-up, says, an accountant by trade, Louis Tully was happily living in his apartment west of Central Park in New York City when he became the pawn in the attempted incursion into the dimension by an ancient Sumerian god named Gozer. Drawn to the building by the architecture of cult leader Ivo Shandor, Gozer's herald, Vince Clortho, the keymaster, took the form of a terror dog and possessed Louis. Vince, as Louis, was then driven to seek out Zool, the gatekeeper, another herald of Gozer, who had possessed Louis's neighbor, Dana. Vince, or Louis, was arrested and brought to Ghostbusters headquarters, where he is examined by Dr. Egon Spangler before escaping. He then found Zool, and their union summoned Gozer to this plane of existence. This 7-inch action figure is based on the 1984 feature film Ghostbusters and features multiple points of articulation as well as accessories and diorama parts. It was sculpted as well by Gentle Giants Studios. To check out more from the folks over at Diamond Select Toys, head over to www.diamondselecttoys.com. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up, and we're going to have a look at the final figure from the first wave of Ghostbusters from Diamond Select Toys. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. For diorama pieces, Louis Tully comes with the same diorama as Ray Stantz. Now, granted, it's the Ray Stantz display stand diorama, but it's essentially flipped and mirrored over to the opposite side here. There's also the tower post, which we can add to the display stand like that. And just to give you an idea, let's move Louis just out of the way for 1 second. I'm going to bring in Ray Stantz display stand. And I'm also going to bring in Winston Zeddemores. Now, theoretically, this may not be the correct setup. In fact, maybe these actually flip around to the front. And then maybe this attaches to the top, kind of like that. But as it stands, there's no middle piece necessarily just yet where you can get a fully complete display stand. I kind of feel like it's like this, the full completed display stand. Well, then there probably would be a back section as well. As you can see, there's pegs on the back side of the display stand. So we really don't have a finished display stand, which is kind of the slightly disappointing end of it. But at least, you know, you can kind of see how everything's going to come together. It's going to be large. I'm not going to lie to you. It looks like it's going to be a very large stand. Let's move all the accessories, all the display stand pieces out of the way. And move this one out of the way as well. We've got nothing on the backdrop, and it caught the fabric. There we go. Okay, so let's have a look at Louis Tully. I guess by comparisons to the Ghostbusters that we had a look at, Louis Tully doesn't bring a lot to the table, but it's still a good figure. It's leaps and bounds better than the Mattel figure of Louis Tully that we got. Although, one thing, I wish that Diamond Select had given us an alternate head as well. The current head, bring the camera in here, the current head kind of has him in that same scene as depicted on the front of the box there, where he's got the glowing eyes, he's probably talking to the horse. Looks up at the guy. He's got glowing eyes. Guy utters something under his breath. But I kind of wish also that he had come with the alternate, like an alternate head that had that mind, you know, research brain scanning helmet that Egon had on him. Just something as well, aside, you know, above and beyond just strictly this face. The figure's really great. I mean, it's not as exciting as the Ghostbusters per se, but I think it's a pretty good looking figure. He's got the messy hair. He doesn't have like a lot of wash to his costume either. Very basic on the brown. He's got brown shoes, partially done up shirt, and then he's got a kind of a yellow shirt underneath. There's really no wash to it though. It's just basically what you see is what you get. But it's still good. I realize that in order, let's bring the camera in. I realize that in order to get like the Ghostbusters, and let's bring in Ray Stantz, which is probably my favorite figure of the three figures that we had to look at. Ray Stantz, I think in order to get these figures, we have to get these figures. And, you know, the last thing that Diamond Select would want to release is all four Ghostbusters in the initial wave. Kind of leaves you to wanting more. You know, you have Ray, you have Winston, you still want Egon, and you still want Peter. But I think it's crucial to get figures like this as well. 12 figures. That's going to be an interesting, maybe we'll get like a Walter Peck, Janine, let's hope. But you know what, I'm kind of also hoping we're going to get some ghosts as well. Maybe Terror Dogs. Oh, there's such potential for this line. So Ray Stantz, without any doubt for me, is my favorite figure from this line. I take nothing away from Louis Tully because accurately he looks like he does in the movie. He doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. He doesn't have a lot of accessories. In fact, he doesn't have any accessories. An alternate head would have been kind of cool, but still the figure as a whole is pretty good for what a Louis Tully figure would need to be. When it comes to his posability, Louis's head is on a ball joint. I find a little bit of the paint I wish could have been cleaner around the back hair section. There's a little bit of flesh color here, obviously for the area of the head that is closest to the neck that they couldn't really get a paint to, but it's a little more visible on the ear section there. Shoulders hinge out. He rotates all the way around. He has a rotation in the bicep. He has a single hinged elbow, a rotation and hinge in the hand. He has the equivalent of what I would imagine to be a ball joint. It doesn't look like he swivels at the waist. So a ball joint in the upper torso, which kind of really ends up moving everything else. He's got split legs, split hinge in the legs there. He's got a swivel cut in the thigh, a double hinge knee, and a hinge foot. It's a good possibility that most collectors may gravitate towards the Ghostbusters. I would hope, collector-wise, you would want to get the other figures as well. Of course, one thing, you've got the diorama that you want to be building, but also, too, Ghostbuster figures as a whole, I would think that you would want to get, or collectors would likely want to get, more than just the Ghostbusters. Louis Tully, maybe not as interesting as the other Ghostbusters, I will admit that, but the figure for what it needed to be, I think is still a much better figure than Mattel's initial release of him. Not all the figures are going to be super exciting. You know, loads of accessories, loads of different things that are going to come with it. The Ghostbusters certainly more than make up for it. That I don't mind getting a Louis Tully if we can also get Ghostbusters, Ghosts, you know, eventually a Gozer, eventually maybe Terror Dogs. I'm really, though, impressed with what Diamond Select is doing here. And eventually when we get Dana Barrett, you know, we've got the Keymaster and Gatekeeper hand in hand. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the final figure from the new Ghostbusters Select line. We're looking today at Louis Tully. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots and other spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.